In this video, we're going to be looking over this Mamiya ZE 35mm film SLR camera equipped with the 50mm f2 lens. And my goal in making this video is to demonstrate the function of this camera in a way that I would hope you would want to do if you had it in your own hands. And so when I'm doing it, hopefully it gives you that feeling and you can assess it along with me here. In order to do that, we have 4 AG13 batteries that I'm going to put in, and they don't come with it, but they're just here for our testing purposes. So let's get started and open the little battery compartment that's here on the bottom. And you got to pull this little thing out of the way, and then this little battery case comes out. And then we open this up. It's a little bit tricky thing to operate here. But we'll take that and open it up, and then we will put one of these batteries, positive side up, in each of the holes and snap it shut like that. And then align the dot here to the dot on here and just push that back into place until it snaps in place. So now it is loaded, and I thought what I'd do is a couple of quick checks here. I'm going to set this at f16, and I'm going to have this light here pointed at it, and we are going to I'm going to turn off this other light. So now we've got a light pointing right into it. Pretty quick shutter speed. Now, holding the camera in the same orientation, I'm going to just turn off this light, and momentarily my camera will need to adjust for the dark, but we'll see what happens here. Much slower shutter speed. Everything else remaining the same. So I turn the lights back on. So we saw that definitely the electronics is doing something in here in controlling the shutter speed relative to the aperture. And let's try the self timer. Now we're going to move this out here and just start that and point that at us and let it finish its cycle. Okay, and it did. So it's a mechanical timer. That worked. I thought now we should open it up and look inside. We pull up on the film rewind knob, and now in here we can see, looks like there's some residue from old light seal material here along these door edges. That looks kind of like it's deteriorating and wearing out. So I would say it should have the light seals redone. But if we look here, we can see the film transport works there. The shutter cocks and advances. So we see that. And the door latches properly. Rewind crank, that would work. And that snaps down. I thought we'd take a look at the lens a little bit here too. So I'm going to push the lens release button and take the lens off, and let's just look at this a little bit. Nice clicks on the aperture ring, and we can see here the blades are quick, and I don't see any oil on them from either side. I did think that when I looked through with a bright LED light, I thought I saw a layer just kind of light up a little bit. It's like lots of little points, not like a fog or a haze. And it doesn't look like fungus to me, but it looks like just thousands of tiny little dots in there that the light catches. And I know I'm probably not making that show up here, but just be aware of that. I'm sure it would still take fine pictures, but be aware there's something in there. Now the focus on this lens, it works, but it just feels kind of cheap. Like it's not real smooth and damped like I'm used to on a lot of lenses. So be aware of that. If we look in the mirror box of the camera before we put the lens back on, Generally looks pretty good there. And so let's mount the lens back in place. Align those two red dots. And there it is. And we can see that if I have it at f16, if I put it at a larger, then the shutter speed is much quicker. So everything about it seems to be functional. The light seals look kind of bad, and the focus on the lens just doesn't have an impressive feel to it, but it is functional. So I'm going to remove those batteries since they're not part of the sale, but otherwise, all in all, it's a complete example of the Mamiya ZE with a relatively fast f2 prime 50mm lens.